Hey guys, me and the TheGameMaster are gonna put together an awesome computer today. We got Sabertooth 990 FX motherboard, 16 gigabytes of RAM from Sniper, a Gigabyte Radeon R9 290X video card. This thing is ridiculous. In the center is gonna be an FX950 AMD processor, liquid cooled by a Corsair H100i radiator liquid cooler looking thing. Bam! We got an ARC 750 power supply, and it's all going to be inside of this awesome NZXT Phantom 530 case. Just pretty ridiculous.
How did you memorize that name?
It's going to be fun. I read the name because it was on the box over there. I didn't memorize it. Alright guys, let's get to it. First we're going to open up this crazy looking case right here. To open up any computer case, you pretty much just unscrew a screw right here, unscrew a screw right here, and then we're going to slide this whole piece off, and then you lay the case down flat so that you can add things to it like the motherboard and stuff like that. Screws out, TheGameMaster is going to pull off the side. You just pull it to the left, take it away. Look at the inside of that thing. Thing open, and look, there was a little surprise box inside right here. I don't know what's in there, but we'll check it out. Probably a bunch of screws and stuff. And a bunch of crazy wires.
I think you need those crazy wires.
Yeah, I think I do. Let's just take them out. First, you need to put the motherboard into the case. So look at this bad boy. Oh wait, we gotta ground ourselves first. Ground yourself, touch people, okay? You don't want to shock the motherboard. If you shock it with static electricity, it could ruin it.
Yeah, but I don't think that was a little necessary to touch me.
Oh, sorry, I just want to shock you. Just in case I needed to.
This is the motherboard.
And on the motherboard, that's where the processor goes. This is where the RAM goes. The video cards go around here or something. Some power right there. We'll do that. In the case, there's these little areas where there's little, where the screw goes into, it's little nuts. The motherboard has holes in it. The motherboard has holes in it that's gonna go over those little screw holes. And that's where we're going to place it. The motherboard is like ridiculous. They do all kind of crazy tests on it. Thermal shock tests, moisture resistant tests, salt spray tests.
You mean they sprayed it with salt?
I guess so. I don't know.
Why would they need to test that?
I don't know. Maybe I might spill like a glass of salt water on it one day.
We don't have a glass of salt water.
Oh well. This piece. Okay, on the motherboard, when you're sticking it into the computer, there's a bunch of little silver boxes on it. Make sure the silver boxes are facing outside the case like this. Now this piece goes on first inside the case. On the inside, you push it out, and then you're going to put the motherboard in there and make sure all the little ports connect to each other like that. This little piece goes right above. Push all the corners in, I pop it in place. It's so beautiful. One in place. But now I got to get the screws in the holes, and we got to figure out which screws are the right ones. We got these screws, and these screws, and those screws, and those, and those, and those. So we get out our handy dandy NZXT Phantom 530 full tower chassis book. Open it up, and you see all the screws. So right here, this screw says that it's for motherboard installation. It's going to be 632 by 5 millimeters. So this one screw right here, just pack. Not that pack. Not that pack.
It's not that pack. It's this one.
Oh yeah, that one.
But for some reason, MB is mixed up.
Instead of saying motherboard, it says board mother. Oh well, that's good enough. But it does say 632 and 5 millimeter at the end of it. So we're going to use those screws. Thank you.
My fingers look weird.
All right, I put a screw in. Look right here.
Right here?
And I put a screw in over here because go this way. These screws over here are harder to put in because there's a little resistance from this pad on the side. So I'll put those in first so that I can get this in easier.
Woo.
We gotta be very careful though. Get that one in.
Okay.
Let me do one more. Well, actually, I'm gonna put one in all the spots.
We're just showing you a little bit.
So, you know, oh, and by the way, you need a Phillips screwdriver for this. It's so beautiful. If you don't know how to use a Phillips screwdriver, I don't know what to do.
So it's another video.
Yeah, yes. Look for a video on how to use Phillips screwdrivers.
Yeah. And then go back to this video.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. That's what people say. Whatever that means. The board is screwed down in place.
Yay!
Make sure that all the ports match on the outside. And that the motherboard is in there pretty good. Yep, it's in there solid.
Mom's stuck.
Yeah, the motherboard is stuck.
Mom is stuck.
Now what do we do? Let's see. Oh, I know. We could put the processor in there. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah,
Okay, where's the processor?
Let's find it. The AMD 9590 FX processor. This is the core of everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The most powerful piece.
Shouldn't this... So, I thought... Never mind.
Okay, first
You have
have to lift up this little baby lever that's inside there.
Dun dun.
So that you can put it in place.
Okay. This is the lever. Ta-da.
Ta-da, the lever is open.
And then there should be a difference on these
Yeah,
corners.
you'll see an arrow right there on the corner.
And then
If you
on
look
this...
on the motherboard, there's a little arrow too. It's very hard
Yes.
to see, but when you do it right, it will work. It will fall right into place onto the motherboard.
This does not need any force, although it's not... Okay, there we go.
There we go. Now you push the little lever down
And lock it in.
and make sure you're very careful with this part. You don't want to break anything at all on the bottom of the processor. We're going to attach this crazy water cooler on top of the processor. It takes up so much space in the case that I want to do this part now to make sure
That rhymes.
nothing's in the way. It takes up so much space in the case. Exactly. Anyway, this thing is crazy looking.
It's like a radiator.
It's huge. It's like a big car radiator. Let's show me this. See, this part right here is going to go on the processor. You're going to shove that on the processor. And then the liquid is going to go through these tubes into this radiator. And then we got these
Fans.
two big giant fans that are going to go on there to keep it cool. And then the water's going to travel back through here, back into there. And it's going to be going over the processor the whole time, keeping it cool.
If we didn't have it keeping it cool, it would burn.
Yeah, the processor would burn right up. This processor is like double the wattage of a normal processor. You could probably like fry an egg or boil some water on top of it. Definitely.
That would be an awesome frying pan.
Yeah, maybe we should just do that. Let's just make this something to cook out of. That'd be cooler. Water cooler on in there. You have to get to the top of the case because you can't screw the screws to the top without taking the top off of it. Just a little plastic top. You pull off like this, so you can see. Okay. It had these little plastic clips like this right here. So plastic clip. You gotta squeeze that either with your fingers or you can use a pair of needle nose pliers. And you squeeze that closed, and then you kind of push it through very gently. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And then it comes off, and the top is free, so that you can put your little water cooler on there. Use yet, but make sure when you're putting it in there, there's these little big arrows on the side right here, and you want the arrow to be facing through the radiator and out the top of the case. You don't want to put it this way, because then it'll be sucking air down. You want it to be blowing through it and out of the case. Man, these screws are really hard to put in there.
Did through it yet?
Almost. There's 8 screws on the 2 fans, and you have to use these long ones like this and put them in there. Okay, when I was putting in the liquid cooler, I realized if I screw it down right here, it's going to block some of these ports. It's probably going to block the power right there. So instead of putting this in right now, I'm going to put the power supply in first and plug it up and then see where I need to place this at.
This is the power supply.
With this crazy octopus thing.
Wires.
Anyway, this is going to go right there on the motherboard. Or not on the motherboard, in the case. So you just take it. And there's 4, there's little screw holes right here and here and here. And on here there's screw holes in the case. So I need to take this, set it down there.
Octopus!
Slide it in place. octopus, it's crazy. Okay, and now, look right there, and there, and there, and there. There's some screws here. Go. Okay, I'm gonna screw them in. I'll probably make the TheGameMaster screw them all in. He loves screwing in the screws.
Really?
Really.
But really?
All of the screws are in place for the power supply. Now let's look at the crazy octopus tentacles coming off of it. And you gotta find one that looks like this. And then there's a spot on the motherboard that looks like that. And then place the end of this right there. You put the big piece on the end. You slide it and just hear it snap in place. Then you put the little piece over here on those little four holes. And you can't put it in wrong. There's special shapes in the port that won't let you plug it in wrong. So we got that in place. Now there's another one that looks like this. You want to plug these over here in the back, where I was saying the cooler might block it. So I'll plug those in.
As you can see, the tentacles are very useful.
Yes. The tentacles are crazy. You let them attack the motherboard.
And Mom is still stuck. We stuck Mom down with screws.
Okay, this is so easy. You can quickly put it in place. Not really. All right, now it's in place. Now I'm gonna get the liquid cooler back and see if it can fit in that spot at the same time. All right, the TheGameMaster's putting the last screw. We have the cooler in place now. I had to put it a little slanted, like a little cockeyed, to be able to fit this wire in there.
And there we go.
I didn't want the cooler to be putting pressure on this wire all the time. So instead of it being perfectly straight and using all 4 screws, I only used 3 screws.
This is starting to look really complicated and stuff, y'all.
It's so easy though. We're making it look easy for people. And look, see, I put a little screw up here, and then one here, and one there. But really, it was supposed to go right there. So it's a little sideways.
And we still need to connect more tentacles.
Yep. But that keeps pressure off of that power cable right there, which is what I wanted.
Yep.
Now we have to mount the cool end, or the part that gets cold, on the processor itself. And that's what's going to keep it cool while the computer's running. This part is very, very important. If you don't put this on there right, the computer will burn up just in a few seconds of turning it on. And at the bottom of this, you got to make sure underneath this plastic piece, which we need to take the plastic piece off, there is a special dielectric material that will help transfer the heat from this plate, from the processor into this plate, and then the water will cool it back down. If you don't have that on there, that little gray looking stuff, you need to buy it and put it on there yourself. But it comes with the kit, so just stick that on top of the processor. Right. There's a little bracket that goes on top of this, and it's magnetic. You just kind of stick it over that, and it just snaps right into place. It's pretty awesome.
It snapped? No,
Yeah.
we have to buy it again.
And it's a magnet. I thought you were supposed to keep magnets away from computers.
Me too.
Against all the rules. You gotta put these little, I guess like a little latch on there for, oh, and this bracket right here is for AMD processors. For Intel, you use something different. For AMD, it's a lot easier, just the one little magnetic bracket, you stick that on there. Then you need to put this little latch at the bottom, and then you screw it on with this screw right here. So you just put that down there. You just start screwing it on there. And you have to do the same thing on the other side.
With the magic of editing, you don't have to see the other side.
Okay, I left them a little loose so that I could hook it to the motherboard. First, you gotta make sure you take this plastic piece off right here. And that has to be off. And then you bring this over here on top of the processor. And you latch the little latch right there on this side. I guess tighten it a little bit. And latch this side over here. that side. Gotta unloosen this a little bit. It won't go on all the way. Alright, I got this side. I'm going to tighten this down. I'm going to tighten this one down. Make sure it's square and even on there. And you keep tightening it down until they're about the same resistance, because you want the same pressure all over it. And you tighten at the same time. Alright, and that's it. Now it's on top of there. And we'll keep it cool. Now we're going to put the DVD reader writer, CD reader player thingamajigger in there. So we need to slide to the top part of the case. I took the, just open a little door right here on it. You pull this little button and pull that little plastic piece out. And then you turn this. It's going to go this way. Not slide it in yet. Just hold it right there for a second. Alright, on this case, it is awesome little latches. You just unlatch that. Pull it back. There's a little screw right there. You make sure it's screwed unscrewed. Okay, now slide that in place. Now, once it's in there flush, it should line up with these little screw holes right there. See the little screw holes? Then you take and you tighten this screw a little bit. Just this one screw right here. And you latch it down. That's it. Now you shouldn't be able to push this out yet. Now it's locked in place. Now we just need to attach the cables to it. Power. I guess I could attach the cables already. It's hard to see. Power goes to the right side, and the left side is another little cable that goes to the motherboard. Get one of the crazy tentacles off the octopus wires from the power supply. It looks like this. And you find a back of the DVD player. And it's on the bottom left, not the right, like I said earlier.
Tentacle.
Oh, this thing's in the way. Okay, and you just keep fooling with it.
Squid tentacle.
Push it right down on there. It should look like that when you're finished. And that gives it power. Okay, we need to connect power to the liquid cooler. So this little piece goes on any chassis fan slot on the motherboard, like this right here. So what you do is there's a little piece on the back and you put it over the 3 pins, and there's a little flat piece on the front. It can only fit like that, and that's going to give it power. But I don't want to put it on this one because the fan in the front of the case is going to use that. So I'm going to put it back here to one that I'm not going to use, but it's a little bit harder to get to because the cooler's in the way already. Okay, that gives that power, and then this piece has a hook to the power supply cord. So I'm going to use this end that I hook to the DVD player. That's not being used for anything right now, since it's so close. And then you just plug
Little
this.
tentacles are everywhere.
Look, can you see that? You just put this in there. Goes this way. There we go. Okay, and that's it. The little Y connector comes with the liquid cooling unit, and this is what gives the power to the fans that's on the radiator part. So you plug this end into the liquid cooling unit, and then you take and you plug these two to the little fans. Like when you have it attached to the liquid cooling unit, and then here's wires coming from the fan to the other end of the Y adapter. Just plug it right into there, and that's going to give power to the fans. Plugged up to the cooling unit to the fan so that you can see it better. Part of the pump, the little liquid cooling pump, you need to plug this little USB cable to it. It's on the left side. You can see it in there, like this little port on the side of it. Slide that in there. And then on the motherboard, you look for a spot for the other end of the USB. On this motherboard, you'll see right here is a port that says USB 1314 and USB 1112. You plug this cable right here into one of those spots.
This is complicated stuff.
You're just plugging up wires to the right spots. It's pretty easy. And that's what it looks like when it's finished. Next we're going to power up the case because I want to make sure that I can fit other stuff in there after I get those wires in place. Anyway, there's lights on the case, there's fans on the case, there's USB ports on the case. All that needs power. So all of this massive wires right here needs to plug into different power sources on the motherboard or to the power supply itself. Things you need to plug, or some of the slots or ports that you need to plug things into on the motherboard have little plastic pieces in the way to make sure that it's safe. So like this is where the USB stuff goes. If you can't find things to plug in or find a spot to plug certain plugs into, make sure you look for that because I didn't see this one right away. I was confused at where it goes. Alright, now we're going to plug up the power wires for the case, for the lights and everything on the case, into the motherboard. This little cool brick comes with it. So it looks hard because it's a lot of wires, but really they're all labeled. So the HDD goes right here, the power goes here, the reset goes here, and on the back you'll have the P LEDs. They go right there and there. Usually a computer speaker attaches to here, but I don't see the wire or a computer speaker on this motherboard or case. Maybe it doesn't have one. Later on, if I find it, I'll hook it up. Anyway, I look down here, it plugs straight down onto the motherboard once you get all these. And it matches with, it has special, some things are, there's no holes for certain stuff, so you can't put it on wrong. When you go to put it like this, if it doesn't fit, then just turn it around and put it the other way. Alright, that's down on there. So, okay, see that's what it looks like when it's on the motherboard. I don't know if you can see that really good. It's right there, this part right here. Okay, and now we have to hook up this wire, which is the HD audio. You see it says HD audio on it. It goes over here on the motherboard to this spot over here.
The tentacles are everywhere now.
It also has another way you can't put it on wrong, like you can only put it on a certain way. So it slides on the back. Make sure I'm putting it on there right, because it's not going on easy. Okay, that goes on there. You can stop it. Now this is the USB power. It goes in this little green spot right here. It has a little nodule right here, so you can only plug it in this way. And this is going to power all the USB ports on the case, so that you can plug your stuff up to the case instead of the motherboard.
The tentacles.
Okay, now look, one more thing. All the fans on the case look like they go to this one power supply right here. So you grab the same thing, the same kind of power off of the octopus tentacles from the power supply, and you plug one of them into it, and it matches the same pattern, the same way. You can only plug it in one way.
Da, 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 da.
And that gives that power.
Yay.
Alright, that's all the power for the case. Alright, now we have to install the hard drive. To put it in for this specific case, you have to open the back panel up. So I had to open the other side of it up, not just the front of it. Anyway, so on the back side, you can get to the little trays, and you got to pull out one of these little black things by squeezing it and then pulling it out like this. Now they remove these little fasteners that hold it in place, but I'm going to show you how to use it in a second. So now you take and you put your hard drive on here. Make sure that the side where you plug in your stuff is to the back of it, not on this side. And then look on the side, there's little holes. Slide the hole up till it's in the biggest part of the tray. And then you take this and you push that in there, into the hole. So I moved it. Put that in there, now you do it on the other side. Put that into the little hole right there. Alright, now you take the whole thing and you slide it backwards.
Backwards.
So now it's held in the tray. Alright, now you slide the tray back into here. this one came out.
Dun dun dun.
And then it's going to squeeze it together and lock in place. And look on this side.
Da, 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 da.
Now, you're going to take and look for some cables by the octopus tentacles that match the back of the hard drive. And you're going to plug the power up to it.
Ta-da!
And that'll get it started. And you also have to plug another cable called a SATA cable. And later we need to plug this up to our DVD player as well. And anything you attach to the computer, pretty much, you're going to attach one of these. Plug that right there. And now, let's turn the whole computer back over.
Ooh.
On the motherboard right here, look right here, is where you plug the SATA cables to. And this is the first one, the master one. So I'm going to plug this to the top up here like this. Wherever it's at. Here it goes this way. Well, I don't want to plug it down. Oh, let me do this. Let me unplug it from the hard drive.
Unplug.
And then plug this side into the hard drive. Well, let me get a different cable.
Different cable.
Okay, this cable doesn't have a bend on the ends. So now we'll plug this back into the hard drive. Now this should slide into here correctly. There we go. Alright, now the motherboard can talk to the hard drive.
Yay! Mom can talk to hard drive.
We also have to put the same like SATA cables on the DVD player or CD reader writer. So you gotta do the same thing. Plug it on here. I could have plugged this up before I put the DVD player in and it would have made it easier. But I didn't.
Oh.
Okay, we got it plugged in there. And now over here, instead of putting it by the hard drive, I'm gonna put it on one of those different colored ones. Alright, now the DVD player is connected to the motherboard and we can talk to it.
Yay, the mom can talk to the DVD.
She can watch movies.
Yeah, she can watch movies.
Right, now we're going to install the RAM, which looks like this.
Whoa.
6 sticks of RAM. And the motherboard says, on the book for the motherboard, it says if you have 2 sticks, put it in the 2nd slot and the 4th slot. So let's put it in there.
Whoop.
Here, the RAM, can you see the RAM goes right here. Those are the 4 slots right there that the RAM goes into. And on the outer edges is little locks. Can you see that? So I'm gonna unlock the 2nd one. I'm gonna unlock the 4th one. And then you can only put RAM in one way. There's a little bar in the middle and it won't let you put it in the wrong way. So you take and you slide one stick in place. You push it down real good. And then I got that liquid cooling away, so I'm gonna try to lock it down. But in the back, I'm gonna use my finger to push it down in place.
Ooh.
It's hard to lock it. Let me just stick the other one in first, and then I'll lock it. The GameMaster is just so exciting.
Ooh, pretty. The tentacles are blocking the way. Hand.
Okay, we got the ring pushed down in there, but now I gotta lock it. It's gonna be hard.
As you can
Oh, I got
see,
one.
there's 2.
Let's see if I can get this one. Oh, got him. Got him in there without having to take anything off.
That too,
Good.
yay.
Alright. Can you see it really
The
good now?
tentacles.
Right now, the RAM is in place. It's hard to see with all this mess in the way, but it's in there. It's looking pretty crazy now. Alright, it's time for the video card. I love video cards. They're my favorite part to put in the computer. Alright, this video card is going to require 2 slots to be open on the front of the, on the case, the side of the case. So I'm going to have to unscrew 2 of these things right here, and it's going to connect into the slot right here. That's where we're going to plug it in at. Screw the 2 plates, just 2 screws, 2 little metal plates. You just pull them right out. Alright, that's where the video card's gonna go. I put a little screwdriver over here and put the wires around it to hold everything out of my way while I put the massive video card in there. Alright, I'm gonna take the video card and put it in the case now.
So many fans.
It's got a little piece right here you gotta take off, a little plastic piece of protection.
There's so many fans that love it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's got a lot of fans. And we can take these off later. Alright, let's put it down in here. Oh, I took off the wrong little piece. Hold on. I gotta take off this one screw right here.
Screw it off with the baby screw. Driver. So he takes the top and the top. Then he picks up that.
And then slide it down into there just perfectly. Come look on this side over here.
Okay.
Slide it down into there. Can you see right along there? When you push it down, this little lever is gonna pop up. It should just lock in place.
There we go.
Alright, now you take the screws, kind of hold this steady, and you screw these screws back in there.
Boop. Screw them back in. Screw them back in. Screw them back in.
And that's it. We'll plug up the power to it in a second. Video card's in there and the power's connected to it. It's this big crazy mess of wires now. We're going to clean up this later. Okay, what it needed was 8 like this. You put a 6 and a 2 on one side, and on the other side it just needed a 6. You can see if I come in like this. And you just plug those in from the power supply over there to the back of the video card, and this powers it up. Once you have the motherboard in, the processor, the RAM, the cooling, the video card, the power supply, and the hard drive, you can actually turn the computer on. So I'm going to get a monitor and some power and see what happens. Get it all plugged up, have it attached to a monitor. I have power going to it. I have a little set of speakers hooked up to it so I can hear if it makes any noises like beeps or anything when I turn it on. And if I flip the switch on the side of the power supply, there should be a little LED light on the motherboard that lights up. Oh, there it is right there. So that means power is going to the motherboard. And now I just have to press the button on top of the case. Turn the power on top of the case. Hit the switch, Igor.
Igor?
Well, press the button better than that.
Oh.
Hold it down, maybe. Or do nothing. Nope, that's definitely that button right there. Let's see what's wrong. Number 2. Press the button. That's not the right button, silly. It's on top of there. Oh, here it goes. It's all loading up. Got all the fans blowing. All the lights. I'm listening for any beeps that are happening.
How do I press the button?
Something is going on. Let's stop it and check what's happening. Turn it on again. I had to put the memory pieces in there really good. Once I push them all in, I think it'll work now. Load it up.
Where's the button?
Oh, here it comes. The fans are lighting up. Oh, look at that. That was cool.
Ta-da!
Load it up.
Ta-da!
Alright, we'll have to fix the memory problems. I put a bootable USB in there with Windows 7 on it, and I loaded up Windows, and I loaded Windows into the system. I put the panels back on by just sliding them back on and putting those little screws back in place, and everything's working great. Okay, I got the computer all ready, and I have Minecraft loaded on it now. I have the same settings as it was on the old computer, and it is getting 400 frames per second, which is insane. you can watch me walk around a little bit. And I can even fly up in the sky and you can see it. It'll drop a little bit, but still, once it loads up all the chunks, you get 400 frames per second. It's crazy. Okay, now this is still with very minimal settings. Let me put it on high settings and watch. It drops some, but it still gets really high frames per second. There's absolutely no lag at all. We played online a little bit. It was really awesome. Put graphics on fancy, clouds on, full screens on. Yep, that level is to 4. Got render distance. If you go any past 12, it does some strange clipping in the background. Particles all. Alright, check this out. I feel like it's still getting like almost, well, it gets about 100 frames a second. But now watch how far you can see in the sky. It's amazing looking. As it loads it drops a little bit, but then it goes back over 100 as it loads it all. But man, you can see so far. There's no problem at all loading up the world. It's extremely fast. It's an awesome computer. And as I said, we played it online already, and it was just unbelievably fast. Okay guys, well, the Super Minecraft computer is built. I hope you guys liked this video. See you later.